Metabots, a franchise that has been around since 1997, more specifically November 2008, 1997. It is a series of video games that involve collecting Metabots, robots, swapping out their parts into battling opponents. In a similar vein to Pokemon and Digimon, more in the Dragon Quest Monster series. It is a series that's primarily been out mostly in Japan, and it has, with only one of its games being out here in the US, Metabots 2 Core, which basically is a Metabot, which is an anime version of 2. Over the years, following 9 games and quite a few spin-off series, there have been over 500 Metabot designs. And today we're going to be looking at my 10 favorite Metabots designs that I like so far, along with a few other honorable mentions. We'll discuss some rather interesting details. We'll talk about the Metabots and why I really like them. So, without further ado, let's get started and let's talk about number 10. Number 10. At number 10, we have the cute, lovable Nora Katz from Metabot DS. That's her made her first appearance. She is the Gravity Mage. Her right and left arms are gravity-based, and her head can cause a miss a turn, basically prevent them doing their move and starting them back at the starting line. Finding out what my number 10 was a bit troublesome. There's quite a few Metabots in the honorable mentions that we're going to talk about, and I was really troubled to figure out which one was set as number 10. I actually discovered a recent Metabot that we'll get into when we discuss some more designs that would have been probably there had it not been for it not having a good picture. Like I said, we'll get to that when it happens. But yeah, Nora Katz is number 10. I love the design. It's very cat-like, but also very, very girly. She's got the skirt. I love the little purple. These scream like more cannons, like she would use fire-based attacks rather than gravity magic. But I can't complain. That's purpose, so be it. I think what I really like the most is gotta be its head. I just love that bow tie and the face. It's just so adorable. And in Metabot's Girls Mission, we actually got a bit of a recolor, which is really cool. Like a little white and blue version with red eyes. It looks really good. I will look at the girls version and see the recolors. There's another one we're going to be mentioning. But yeah, the recolor is really good, and that's kind of what sold me on it to be number 10. It had a really nice recolor to it. Without further ado, let's move on to number 9. Number 9. At number 9, we have Amira Magus from Metabots S. This Mage Killer Metabot is a really hard to pain in the butt deal with Metabot. He's got a lot of defenses. He absorbs the opponent's HP, and he generally tries, and he's also pretty evasive. He's not a Metabot you really want to mess with. There's going to be quite a few Metabot S's designs in this series, and they're just really good. What I will say is the ones that from Metabot S that I really like is they're kind of more simpler nature, not so being very Digimon X antibody, and this sort of fits the bill. When I first saw this design without reviewing Metabot News Network's video, I thought this was actually female at first, but it is actually male. The things I really like about it, I like everything about it. Maybe the skirt design, I would cut it out. I think it takes away from its really awesome legs, but I love that arm. I love its right cannon arm. I love the head, the hat. It's all so good. It's a fantastic design. Especially that face. It kind of gives off a bit of a Final Fantasy Mage design from there. Really good. Number 8. And number 8, we have another Metabots S. We have Eurydie, the multitasker Metabot. This Metabot will like to confuse with its right arm while dealing punishment, which basically, if it's facing the opponent, it will deal double damage. It also has a head for recovery. Among the angel-based Metabots, there's quite a few of them. This one is borderline 2X antibody, I would say. But it kind of does enough. This was one I wasn't really sure about at first, but it kind of warmed up to me. Its hat, I wish was a little bit better. It was a little bit different, but other than that, I dig it. I love the big blue big blue eyes. I really love this sword and his nice armor. It's got a really nice blend of colors of orange, whites, and blacks. It's very striking. It's it's an angelic, but it's like a very robotic angel. I don't know. I really dig this design. It's a kind of a simple-ish design, very kind of soldier generalish shtick. It works nicely. Moving on, number 7. At number 7, we have Kimigar, the Unkillable Wall, a Metabot that was introduced in Metabots 8. This Metabot is another one that I had to think about. What I really like about this guy is he's kind of very patriotic in a way. You know, he's got these reds, he's got blue, he's got whites, and he's got the mixture of nice gunmetal gray and black. It works nice. It works very nicely. I initially wasn't going to throw this guy on the list because of his meta change. I thought it was a bit strange, but I dig the edginess about. I just dig the edginess about it. It's really funky. He kind of reminds me of Robots in Disguise Optimus Prime, and I think that's maybe what's really does it for me, just the connection. I was thinking it was being more American, but no, it's more RID Optimus Prime. Regardless of the reference, the colors just work really well. It's definitely one I want to see other colors of and see what other capabilities. In terms of its meta change, it is just basically an onigiri mask. It's designed to provoke. It's like kind of like a vanguard and then shoot at him to really piss him off. It's designed to be a really good wall, and he hits really hard. So yeah, hopefully it'll be an American game like many of these that I can get to experience. Number 6. At number 6, we have Titan Beetle, the one-man army. Now, I did a video discussing Tyrell Beetle, and of course, I also discussed Titan Beetle because they're a similar model. They're both blue. Well, in my thought process of discovery, I was thinking about it. I was going over my head. I'm like, really? I'm going to like this guy? He's got this stupid crotch plate in the front. It's just stupid looking. But the rest of my brain's like, you gotta do it, man. And here's the reason why. It's simple. It's not overly complicated. It's just got these 2 blades and a little stag booster pack. That's what the simplicity is. It's not. Tyrell Beetle looks a little bit more complex. This is simple. You gotta go for it. All right. This Metabot, by the way, made its appearance in Metabots 8 as a DLC. You could purchase for about like $1.99, so, or I think maybe $2.99. So relatively cheap if you could have access to it. Yeah, it's just super simple. I mean, I like its arms, its head. Yeah, that's crotch plates there, but it's like my brain's like, no, let's just turn that off. You don't worry about that. Just focus on the simplistic nature of it. The crotch piece means nothing. So yeah, here it is at number 6. Number 5. And number 5, we have Atheist, the Godslayer Glass Cannon. Now, if you'd seen my Metabot thoughts, I showed the Metabots 2 artwork. Well, the reason being, I was being a little bit cheeky, is because Atheist has a much upgraded design, and Metabots 8 and even it's 9 and 9. Metabot's 9 and then eventually S. Yeah, it still looked good in Metabots 2, but just having an overall upgrade in terms of the artwork really stands out. And I think a lot of the Metabots would have probably ranked a lot higher and maybe even surpassed this if we just had a modern artwork of it. Now, there are some that will defy, which we will talk about, but I just feel like, yeah, there's some Metabots that just need an upgrade. So what do I like about this guy? Well, he's based off the Longhorn Beetle, and when I mentioned my thoughts, the green, this kind of like light armish green, this kind of weird yellow and the white, it just works really well. And it's a shame that future versions, Atheist 2 and other variations of this Longhorn Beetle, don't really stick out as much. And it's also another Metabot that I would really love to see recolors of. I'm just curious. This is perfect, by the way. I have no problem with this color, but I wouldn't mind seeing other versions. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing the Atheist 2 design, which had like a darker blue and red. I wouldn't mind seeing this being slapped on this. It could work. Anyway, from there, let's move on. Number 4. At number 4, there's an old school Metabot. Remember Windclap from Metabot's Navi, a Metabot series that has some fantastic designs, which we'll go into more later. But Windclap. This Metabot, he's Metabot's S, Metabot's Navi. He looks pretty simple. He's pretty cool. I do like him. He unfortunately didn't make it too far in the rounds. He stuck at round 1, unfortunately. But this is one of those Metabots that I could see evolving. And one of the Metabots you could see is potentially Cockatry. And Cockatry is a good design. It's cool. Got maybe a similar color pattern. I could definitely see this being an upgrade. But maybe there's 2 evolutions to it. But this guy's maybe has like a separate, different path. He sticks with the bird path. This is the bird path. What if he goes jet? What about Azure Ruler from Metabot's S, but really making his first appearance in Metabot Survive? Azure Ruler is freaking awesome. It is the Gatling Maniac. Has a bit of a spread design with its moves. He's based off a jet engine. I'm surprised he doesn't have a meta change form, but I guess going to Metabot Survive, it would make sense. Maybe you wouldn't want to have that. I need to watch some gameplay of it and see if there's any meta change versions in there. But first off, I wish there was other angles from it. Not saying that Metabot News Network's thumbnail or just picture design doesn't work, but I really want to see more of him. What I really like about him is just his face. He's kind of like got this like bird warhog feel to it. He's got these big giant arms that are kind of reminiscent of Windclap and these big giant wings. His feet, not my favorite. They kind of look like they could spread out, but not really. I wish they were a little more bird-like. Maybe if the Cyclops were rotating in front and rather than being on the side. Just a slight modification, but yeah. It also seems like he could have wield swords, which, hey, that would be cool. But no, he's just a simple gunner. Crazy maniac Gatling gunner, anyway. But yeah, this guy I think is definitely worthy of number 4. He's a slick design, bit simple, but has the edginess aspect to it. Moving on, let's move on to the top 3, of course. Number 3. Well, I did a small series of Metabot thoughts based off the Demon Metabots, and of course, one of them had to make it in. And that, of course, being Blossomail, the secret boss that's on a rampage. He's a bit of a suicide bomber. Her arms explode, and then the head does more damage. And of course, if you want to do the meta change form, becomes like a beast-like chimera. This one I did not have to think about. There was a lot of other demon Metabots I could consider, but this ultimately ended up winning. However, I do have a bit of a complaint. With this. So this is the one that's from Metabots 4. Great design, absolutely love it. I love this pink, the yellow, the red eyes. It all works really well, and even its meta change. The face is a little bit problematic, but just not enough. I mean, it's okay. It's really cool. There's also a model kit of it, and I've seen a couple on eBay. A used one for about $800, and a more expensive one at being $1,000. I wouldn't mind having this one. This is a great model kit. I wish it maybe had some re-releases. That'd be cool, very cool. But the reason I want to talk about this design. So we saw with Atheist that in Metabots 9 that it got a bit of a redesign and it worked really well. Well, Blossomail has a similar problem. See, the bot form is cool, but then you have its meta change form, and like, wait a minute, what happened here? This like, if we look at the nose, like it's the exact same, but it's got covered up, and now you just have this black part. You have this black part. It's like, no. And looking at other, this has been in other games. They all look perfectly fine. Even Metabot's Navi nails both these designs very well. It's just so weird that in Metabots 2, Metabot's S, we get like a hollow like skull version. I don't know. It just takes away from the aspect. And I get it. It works with this aesthetic, but still, they could have added more. They could have added the pink eyes or something, or done something else to make this team better. this nose head just seems so wrong. I don't know. I wish it was different. But I've done enough complaining. Blossomel is awesome. She is an absolute adore badass Metabot. Wouldn't you agree? Moving on. Let's move on to number 2. Number 2. At number 2, we have Metabot's S Hybrid Metabot Black Cruise. The Rush Recklessly Hybrid Girl. Yeah, we got another Metabot's S design, but this one is so slick. She's basically the last of the hybrids from what I can tell, and it's done excellently. As an edgelord, I can appreciate this design. It's got black, it's got gold, and it's just got the nice bit of a little bit turquoise around the skirt that makes it super awesome. Her head can deal multiple damage, but in return it will destroy one of her parts, either the arm or one of the arms. I believe the cannon wants to be at full power, where full HP, where the sword can be lower. So take your pick. Which one do you want to use? Maybe you want to use the sword first and then go for the cannon. Kind of that shtick. That's what it's kind of the spiel is. Actually, that's right. The sword is the lower and the cannon's the bigger. But yeah, yes, it's black and it's edgy, but just the colors that are used make it so well. The orange, the copperish orange just works so well. And just that tiny bit of turquoise, just perfection. But with that said, before we move on to number 1, we definitely got to talk about the honorable mentions, because there are quite a few of them, and there are some great designs. Anyway, let's move on to the honorable mentions. Starting out the honorable mentions, we have Manny Milk from Metabot's R. This one was in 10 for a little bit, but the waifu aspect, I don't know. I wasn't too keen with it. It is a really good design. I could definitely see this being someone wanting to smash it, of course. She's a pretty basic healer. It's a cute design. It's basically Miltank without the offensive aspects of it. But yeah, Manny Milk. Then we have Salashima. She is also in the kind of the onigiri category as Kingamanger. This was another consideration one. I think this one I would have actually chosen if her hand wasn't a sword, if she was actually wielding it. That's probably my only complaint, but I absolutely love the colors. I love her face. It's a very cool design. Next we have Potomi. And Potomi, we almost made it. There's something about it that just didn't strike with me. It is also one of the few Metabots that was introduced in Metabot's Navi that could evolve. And yeah, I was going to put that in consideration. We're going to see them in just a few seconds. But yeah, Potomi was definitely consideration. In fact, I really wanted to upgrade, but then I looked at Noir Cats and I'm like, yeah, you're going to be there. Next up is Gokudo. I think he's just a little too simple design, but I do absolutely love the colors. Nice martial artist. He's got a stick for a weapon. Just good design. Like I said, just a little bit too simple for what I'm looking for. But yeah, it's still very, very good. Next up, we have Sertrid. And I just discovered this Metabot like when I was doing my review for Dr. Omeko. And I was thinking about putting in there, if it had a better picture, I would have chose, this would probably easily been in 10. There is something that is super good. I absolutely love it. Yeah. And Metabot's Navi has some banger designs, like Windclap being one of them. We saw Potomi, just a whole bunch. I mean, even Blossomale looked great in this game. And presumably, when I finish Final Fantasy VII, we're gonna actually move on to Metabot's Navi. Hopefully, unless Digimon Time Stranger takes its place. But yeah, I would really love to play that game, because there is some great designs that definitely deserve to be in the spotlight. But from Sertrid, we have its meta change form. Like I said, need a little bit better picture, but still looks really well. It's a funny looking angel. It's surprising that the Metabots got a more traditional looking angel rather than Digimon. That's just an opinion I know. But yeah, I'm surprised I missed this, because I bust out laughing when I saw Sertrid. Moving on, we have one of the crossovers from Netagusco for Takrai, This was originally top 10, but I just kind of moved it down. Kind of reminds me of the Cassetria Gundam. It's cool. I feel like the other designs are just a little bit way better, but still very good. I love the black and the pink. It works nicely. Next up, Great Mother. This was another one from Metabots 2 that when I saw it, I'm like, I can't believe it's not higher up on the list. I thought about putting this in number 10, but the fact that they didn't have like much offensive kind of just turned me away a little bit. I also don't. The sheet is a weird aspect. It's like cape. I don't know. This is almost perfect, I would say. There's just something that's needed. There's just something that needs to be a slight change, and it would be there. From there, we had Nine's Leader. Nine's Leader is also up there. The hip, I don't really like it. I don't know. I thought about it. I'm like, maybe it's just a little too simple for me, but it is a very good interpretation of Major from Ghost in the Shell. I do love that aspect. This head is just chef's kiss. Then we have Onafichik. This was also there. She is, I think, a final boss in Metabots Navi. If we had better pictures, yeah, I think I could see it. It's based off Orichi. It looks very cool. Its staff, I probably would have changed it. Maybe if it had a different weapon, it would be up there. I don't know. Still very good design. It could definitely move up on the list. But yeah, Ophinichinus. Good, but just not good enough. Then of course we have Potomac, which is the evolved version of Potomac. This is meta change. This is why I wasn't keen. This is one of the reasons why I wasn't necessarily keen on putting an upgrade. It just looks like a tank. I just wanted something a little bit extra to it. But yeah, this is the upgraded version of Potomac, which did happen in the game. I think the enemies used the upgrade, and you could also upgrade it yourself. I end up going against it because while it is an upgrade, I think the back portions didn't really, back arms didn't strike my fancy too well. Still very good. And then of course we have War Bonnet from Metabots 2. Just solid design. Very simple. I think the War Bonnet family may be one of my favorites, along with the motor series as well. Those are still pretty cool. But let's stop talking about the honorable mentions. Let's move on to number 1. Number 1. At number 1, we have Hardness 10 from Metabots 5, the final boss. This, I don't really know what made me really love this design. When I just saw it, was just super simple, like very majestic, kind of a pink diamond feel. Remind me of Lucy from, what am I thinking? I keep thinking of, it is going to come to me eventually, but the weird psycho woman, the visor kind of reminds me of her, although their weapon set is a little bit different. But yeah, something about it just works really well with me. Metabots News Network basically described this as a bit of a nuke. It's kind of a master nuking. It's a far range Metabot. Really good design. It's upgrade. Designs of the year I've still been really good. It hasn't waned in its design. And even in I think one of the later Metabots games, this looks like it's from Metabots R, but that can't necessarily be true. You could see, I think this is from Metabots DS. You could see its eyes. They're just kind of cute. They're kind of friendly looking, which is kind of weird considering this thing looks so badass looking. But yeah, I just dig Hardness 10. There's a Hardness X, which is a green version in Metabots Girls Mission that just didn't quite click with me. I just prefer the overall pink version. There are some angles this doesn't necessarily work, but I'm like, yeah, no, I really do dig it. It's just a cold, heartless machine that's female, and it just works with me. With that, this is the end of my top 10. Maybe this will change over time. I'm not sure. I feel like Titan Beetle and Atheist are going to stick around. Maybe even Hardness 10 and Blossomel. The others maybe change. I don't know. We'll see. I'll have to continue my journey. Like I said, I would click on the links, and I'm like, okay, cool design, move on. But I did do a little bit of research tonight. Do a little bit of research into it. Hopefully, you guys enjoy this video. I'll see you guys next time. Next week we start Metabots R because it came before Metabots 3. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what your favorite Metabot is.